Welcome to the Hope Podcast, 10 minutes of weekly encouragement for parents of kids who learn differently. My name is Jimelle Carlson, and I'm so glad you're here. I hope you enjoy this week's episode. Hey friends, welcome back. So this week, I am so excited. I have an interview with you that I am going to share, and it is just so special. I got to sit down with an amazing woman. Her name is Erica Davis, and she is the founder of a ministry called Hitching Post Ministries. This ministry that she founded is so amazing. It is all centered around working with kids who have been impacted by trauma. And they have this amazing ranch and they have kids out there, and what goes on there to help these children build resilience and develop a sense of self-worth and to learn to love themselves again is just so amazing. And so I'm excited for you to listen to her story and hear about her ministry, and also just hear about the great things she had to say with regard to recovering from trauma and healing and how it impacts not just the child, but the parent and the family as a whole. So I hope you enjoyed this talk, and looking forward for you to hear everything that she has to say. It's wonderful. Hi, Erica. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Well, I'm so glad that you're part of this podcast, and you came to mind because so many of the families that I work with and the children that come to our school have experienced some form of trauma or anxiety or pain in their life that they've had to overcome. And I know that that is all about your ministry. And so I wanted to have you on here so you could share with everybody about what you do, your amazing ministry. Do you want to just share with everybody a little bit about Hitching Post Ministries? And that'd be great.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me too. And I love what you offer your families and kids, and how you're walking them and really training your families on not just learning disabilities or learning different ways of learning. You're really teaching about trauma and what that looks like. And so I've loved listening to your podcast. So thanks again for having me. Hitching Post Ministries was birthed out of my dream to have a ranch one day where kids could come and play with horses and learn about Jesus. And so we specifically serve families who have experienced trauma. And trauma can be from any range, from self-harm to foster adopt to more severe trauma. And we pair each child with a mentor, a healthy adult. So we're a mentorship relationship-based program. And we pair the child with a mentor, with an animal or an activity for 90 minutes. And the kids get to come to Hitching Post for up to 24 weeks. We have 4 6-week module sessions. And depending on the severity of their trauma, we either open up for the full 24, or sometimes kids can just come for the 6 weeks, and we can continually get on the kids from the waiting list. And, building relationship, what we're doing is building resiliency in those kids. We're really watching these relationships who come in hurting and watching them feel safe, precious, and heard. That's our number one goal when they come to the ranch.
Oh, I love that. And so you mentioned pairing them up with animals. What kind of animals did you say you guys use?
Yeah, so we have chickens, we have goats, we have pigs, we have a beautiful dog that we call Grizz the Greeter. He's always following us around. And then we have 6 horses, and our horses are just so beneficial to our program. Would you like to hear more about the horse part of what we...
Yeah, I would love to. Yeah.
So our interaction with the horses is so cool. I always say, why horses? Why would we use horses? We've maybe heard of equine therapy before. So a lot of the things that we do are very therapeutic, but we are not therapists. So that's why we call ourselves a mentoring program. And our horses are really key in our program because they offer the same things that we react to in trauma. We react with fight, flight, or freeze. And the horses are very similar. They react the exact same ways. And so we use the relationship with learning horsemanship. We teach a natural horsemanship. So the kids get to experience what the horses teach us, which is trust, communication, boundaries, and leadership. This is all a natural progression of the language of a horse. And so we use their language to then empower the kid to learn how to trust themselves or how to build safety. Felt safety is a really big deal. So feeling safe around this 1,500-pound animal and learning how to care for that animal really is just so beneficial. And, there's something about a horse, their heart will start to regulate our heart from
Wow.
from a distance away, where we'll start to rhythm with them. So I'm sure you've all heard, like, when you're getting on a horse, maybe you've rented a horse and you're about to ride and they're saying, just act chill so that the horse will feel what you're feeling. And
Yeah.
yes, that is part of the story, but honestly, learning to regulate and breathe and calm yourself around a horse, they will start to rhythm with you. And that is the coolest thing to us, like watching a child who maybe has some anxiety and all of a sudden is learning to breathe next to that horse and to relax, to have this horse start to, who might be fidgety moving around, and then all of a sudden the horse, I'm going to do it. The horse breathes out too. And these are key signs. That's how the horse talks. So we're using the language of the horse to explain and give cues to what's happening on the inside of the kid. They're great teachers. One of the things that I love about the horses is they really create this playfulness. And we have learned through some of our training that we've done. We train with something called TBRI. It's called Trust-Based Relational Intervention. And we learn through that play is a huge part of a child overcoming their trauma. And so you've now paired the kid with a healthy adult, and now you're involving an animal who is helping you learn to regulate, who is also helping you learn to breathe differently, and then teaching you playfulness. It changes your insides. It just changes what's going on neurologically with you. And TBRI, the statement says it takes 400 repetitions to heal from trauma in talk therapy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how would you ever keep count? Am I to 400 yet? But through play, it takes 20 repetitions. And so I just love the idea of doing it all through play. So everything about what we offer here is dirt's a natural antidepressant, play with the horses, play with their mentor, this safe, precious, and heard, this just giving the kids a real winning environment. And that's what Hitching Post is offering.
Okay, you're getting me choked up as I'm listening to you. And I knew that our thoughts aligned a lot with how we feel about helping children and helping them resolve their pain and trauma from their history and that type of thing. But I didn't even realize how much we align, because 100%, I think it was just one of the last episodes or two where I went off about how if a child does not feel safe in their environment,
Right.
they are not going to thrive. They can't learn. For us, these kids come in with learning challenges, and so many kids, at least 25% of kids out there have some sort of learning challenge. There's a high percentage of those who the reason for their learning challenge is probably because of an early childhood trauma that has taken place. And that may be something extreme like abuse, but it could also be a medical issue that happened, or even just a challenging divorce or something that has happened that has caused trauma and created these learning challenges for this child. And then they end up in environments at school where, because they don't feel the same, they feel different, they don't feel safe.
Yeah.
And that is so critical, helping a child to feel safe. I love that that you guys are trained in TBRI. A huge percentage of our staff is also certified in
Yeah.
TBRI. And I so believe in that, the trust-based relational intervention and helping the child feel safe, to bring laughter into it. That is amazing. I love it. I love it. How many kids have you guys worked with, and how many years have you been around?
So we're just about to complete our 7th year, which seems crazy to me that is even a reality. We've seen a little over 200 kids in our 7 years. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Aw, that is so special. And how many people help and volunteer?
Yeah, we're always looking for more mentors. But we have about 15 in total through the 7 years, 15 mentors. And then we have volunteers that come up to the ranch as well to help the whole program run efficiently. We need many volunteers. So
And what's the mentor's role?
we do a pretty extensive training with them to make sure that we've covered all of our modules with them. And so we usually do our training in March with our mentors. And really, their job is only because of the distance where we are. We're unique that we are kind of a retreat space. We're about an hour away from Orange County and Riverside County. And we have people driving from San Diego County and even LA and Fullerton area to come because, kids will come. Parents will bring their kids when they need help. But our mentors take a good amount of training so that they're safe, so that they're expressing our mission and learning how to do the horsemanship. We said, your job is to love children and love God, and then we can teach you all the rest. So we
Right.
teach lots of horsemanship so that they can use the horses in there. But we also do gardening. We also work with the smaller animals. We do arts and crafts. We do word working. We do all sorts of lots of games, lots and lots of games. So, it's interesting to me, like I just mentioned, I believe a parent who has a kid or in their family, somebody that's hurting in one way or another, a parent will do anything to get that child the help that they need. And so they will find and reach out like their parents and people are finding you in your school, which I think is amazing. I think I'm going to jump all over the place right here, so I apologize. But my husband is a school teacher, and I also taught in a school. And then I also taught at a church, which was in a group setting. And it was in these places that we found the kids on the peripheral. How are we really helping the kids that are on and that gets me. I get choked up on this because, you can have a program or you can have a good activity, but if the kid doesn't fit, if the kid doesn't thrive in that environment, what are the options? What do you have for them? And that really is so hard for parents. So we are huge advocates for the parents. I'm totally choked up right now.
I get it. I get it.
We are huge advocates for these parents because they're
Yes.
literally doing everything they can for their kids to find the healing that they need. And so I'll just give one little example with our horses. We had a horse come that I thought, hey, this is going to be a rideable horse. We're going to use this horse in our program. And this horse was in pain, basically, was not ready to be ridden. And I realized that I had to release my expectations with this horse. And as I released the expectations of what that horse was going to do for me, that horse started to heal.
Wow.
And as he healed, then he became the lead horse based on me caring for him, learning to listen to his pain. And I use that example because we're way different than anything else. I think we're very unique in what we offer because you're driving far, you're having to commit to what we offer. You're in the dirt, which is a natural antidepressant. The parents don't leave. So we're giving the parents also a 90-minute break. What is happening though is like not just teaching the kid, but really it's teaching the whole family in that, hey, moms and dads, you're doing a great job, but your expectation of what you have for your kid, maybe it needs to be like celebrate the little win right here. And then eventually, like just giving time, giving a safe place to breathe. And it doesn't have to be with us, but learning to release expectation was such a huge gift for me that this horse gave me, which translates to our families that what we're teaching.
Wow. I'm like blown away by how much our things align with how your thought process is and how much we want to help these kids who fall through the cracks. You started that ministry for the exact same reason why I started this school, because I saw children who would fall through the cracks. I mean, there'd be amazing schools with amazing teachers and people with good hearts, but
Yeah. Yes.
still, if the kids weren't getting their needs met, and the children didn't feel safe, these big schools and programs end up doing the opposite. It creates more pain and more insecurity, and the child feels different. And so much, I can so relate to what you're saying, because every parent that I end up meeting with there that comes to this school, they're hurting. They love their kids so much and they don't know what to do. And they will do anything to try to find help, and a lot of them have tried everything and it's not working. Their child's still in pain. And it is so important that, like you said, that the family as a whole ends up finding healing. When we work with our students, that's our goal too, is that it ultimately brings peace and safety to the family as a whole. As they watch their child begin to thrive, the parents start to feel more hope and feel, and they get to just be parents again. But I do believe and agree with you that one of the hardest things is letting go of our expectations. How hard is it as parents? We want the perfect life for our kids. We don't want them to have pain. We don't want them to have something tragic happen or to have a learning challenge or a physical ailment or whatever it is.
Mhm.
One of the hardest things, I think, is for people to let go of trying to fit your kid into what you thought normal was going to be, right? And what's so sad is that the more effort we put into trying to get our kid to be normal,
Yeah.
the more insecurity we can actually create in them. And it's just like you said, it's finally getting to a point where you let go and just like accept the reality of where you're at, go down a path that you weren't expecting or planning. And what's amazing is life turns out probably more beautiful
Yes.
once you can really let go. You know what I mean? Like normal isn't all it's cracked up to be. No one
No.
is,
What's
everyone, we
normal
all,
anyway?
yeah, what is normal? Normal is being abnormal.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's true. I think we're striving for something that doesn't even exist. Like
Right.
life has pains and bumps and bruises. I have seen the same thing with so many of our students, that when they embrace who they are and they embrace the challenges that they have, that we see the resilience build in them and they begin to thrive and become more confident. And it is just so beautiful.
Mm-hmm. It's the best. We have seen some victory. Like we've seen, because why am I moving on to year 8 is because we've seen that our model does work. Within 6 weeks, we have seen empowerment. We've seen the kids learn to care for the horse, which then internalizes, they learn to care for themselves. So we've really watched many of them transition. I think I have 2 stories actually. So one is we have a family who the 3 children, their parents both passed away in a car accident. And
Wow.
they then moved in with aunt and uncle who already had 2 children. And so these families are coming really seeking respite and some normalcy. And the ranch was a way for them to get out of their hurt and to find joy and to do something together. And thank the Lord, what we do, we need mentorship, right? And we had enough mentors to take all 5 kids. And when I say we're helping the whole family, because when trauma hits, it doesn't just hit the one kid, it hits the whole family. And
Yeah.
so for us to be able to care for the whole family has been such a gift. I think that the timing of who God brings and what happens here has just been so sweet. And so watching those 5 kids who came in severe pain, and then they ended up staying with us for 2 years. And to have the one little boy that I again will cry because I just love this kid so much. I love each of the kids so much. But this one little boy who, we take a break. We're open April through October, and he came to our October party, and he came running from the street to find me. And that does, and their family's thriving. They're really finding ways to mesh in their newness of their world. And we're so
Wow.
proud that we were a part of them for 2 years. And then our another story is during COVID. We were alive during COVID, and one of our teenage girls that was coming during that time, she was really having some hard time mentally, just really invasive thoughts. So she was with us for a year or so, and she ended up getting what she needed and really attached to our mentors. Never had done horsemanship before, and left and worked at Rawhide Ranch, where she became the lead ranch hand with 72 horses. And then
Wow.
she came back and mentored with us, and we're just so proud of her.
Wow.
We love her dearly, and, that's the thing with mentorship. We need community, and we need to know we have this safe family that we can always come home to, and so she's in college now. She was one of our interns this summer, and so we're just so proud of her, and so those are the kind of resilient stories that we are so proud of telling and saying that our model's working, and so it's not for everybody. We know not everybody likes dirt. So, or
I think it is for everybody, even the people who don't like dirt. If you don't
I,
like dirt, I still think you should go there. I have to say, I've been out to your
yeah,
amazing ranch. I've shoveled some
yeah.
horse poop.
Some
It helped me. It did.
therapy.
It is therapy. It
Yeah,
actually is. It sounds weird, but it actually
yeah.
is. It is so beautiful and peaceful.
Hard work is good for the soul.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But I am just so thankful for you. And I am so proud of you for what you've built and what you are doing. It is beautiful. Thank you
Thank
that
you.
you are loving on these kids and all the work you're doing. I just know that God has many more years ahead for this beautiful ministry. And I wish everyone could go. We all have some kind of pain that we're carrying around with us. And I'll tell you, a little ranch time could do you some good. What about kids though who don't live in Southern California and don't have the opportunity to come visit you there?
Hmm.
What would you recommend to just kids across the United States that happen to be parents who might be listening that are in other states? Any thoughts for something similar that could help with their, helping to ease some trauma?
Yes. So we are considered a similar ministry with I call it the mothership, the mother ranch, and they are called Crystal Peaks Youth Ranch.
Oh,
And they've been around for over 25 years. And that's the specific model that's similar to ours. And with people have gone like us to go be trained by them. And then because we agree under their topic of ministry, they then will promote anybody who has cleared all that clearances. So if you go to Peaks Youth Ranch website, there's something called a similar ministry where you can click on it and it'll show you the whole graph of the United States. And then you'll be able to see that's how many people have actually found us is through Crystal Peak.
oh,
So they look at California and they see there's like 3 or 4 ranches in California. We're really the only one in this area. There's one in San Diego, and then the rest are all in Northern California. So for Californians, but there's ranches all across the United States.
oh, that is so awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I hope that some people hear that. Now, for the people who do live in Southern California and want to somehow connect with you, how do they reach you? What's your website?
Yes, our website is hitchingpostministries.com. And we kind of require that everybody comes for a tour who's interested. So we have serve days on Saturdays. That's for anybody. Anybody can come. And you can come with your children and do the work together. It's from 9:30 to 11:30 is our serve days every Saturday, just about every Saturday. And then we have other events that are offered. In fact, one coming up is our Family Fall Fest. It's our year-end finale coming up October 25th from 11 to 2. Our program is free. I don't know if you knew that. So we rely on donors and people that believe in what we're doing and believe in the families that we're serving. And so everybody gives financially to make what we're doing work, to have internship, to have mentors get their training they need, to have the horses, to feed the animals, to care for the ranch, which is a beautiful environment for these families to really relax. And we try to keep it as neat as possible. So the serve day people really help with keeping the ranch ready for the families to be able to receive. Families that are in need, that are wanting to use our services for sessions, they're going to reach out the same way through our email, hitchingpostministries@gmail.com. If they're interested, they come for a tour first, and there's an intake form that the families would fill out for us so that we would just make sure that we're the right fit for everybody. And we always make everybody tour so they understand the distance, they understand the commitment, they understand if it's a good fit for both of us. Our number one rule is that the child has to want to be here. So,
Absolutely. I get
yeah.
that. Same with at our
So
school too. You can't, if someone is not open to the support, yeah, it's not gonna, it makes it very challenging, but I don't know who would not want to be there. But okay, well, what we'll do, we'll make sure that in the show notes that we're going to put your website address, we will put your email address, and I'm sure you'll hear from some people. And I just want to thank you so, so much. I just appreciate you, and you're making me want to be out at your ranch again. I got to come visit you. I know you got to come down and visit the school too. You haven't been down here lately. So thank you for joining me, and thank you for everything you're doing. You're amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you again for listening to the Hope Podcast. If you'd like to connect with me or offer suggestions for topics you'd like covered in future episodes, you can visit me on Instagram at Jimelle Carlson. And if you'd like to learn more about Foundations Cognitive Schools, you can visit our website at foundationscognitive.com.